You've traveled to another dimension, a dimension not only of contradiction and speculation, but also one that defies logic and is based on blind faith.
Indeed we have. We are back with Living Waters, the Way of the Master series. Because quite simply, I could not stay away. Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron are the best idiot duo since I teamed up with a clone of myself to fight crime. Anyway, this is the start of my series on the video titled Try Believing in Evolution After This. Although I think it should be called Try Believing in Humanity After This, because it's probably, definitely, maybe, extremely going to be dumb. Take it away, Kirk, with your oh-so-witty sketch comedy.
A journey into a nebulous land whose limits are that of imagination.
Still sounds like you're talking about you guys' point of view, man. I mean, come on. Earth is 6,000 years old. What if I told you that the Earth was actually fully formed in 2011, at the exact same time as the Elder Scrolls Skyrim launched? Think about it. It's literally the only game in the universe, and that's why they have to keep remaking it and get sold to Microsoft. It's all connected.
You've just crossed over into the evolution zone.
I wish you would evolve, but not like evolve. I mean Pokemon evolve. Into a Kirkachu. That's just you with slightly angrier anime eyes. But the stat increase would move your intelligence rating from gibbering moron to simply colossal idiot. Plus, if you're a Pokemon, I could store you in a computer and then you couldn't hurt me anymore. We all know he's just there, waiting under our beds, ready to jump out and quote the Bible at us. Terrifying. Oh hey, it's the extremely 90s dancey bit. I missed that. New dance? Yeah, new dance.
So use the law and use your testament. Reach out to the boss. Reach out to the boss.
Still fun.
What you're about to see was not planned. There was no script, there were no writers.
There was no research, no study, no education, no basic testing of reality, no effort, no care, not a single attempt at intellectual honesty, and not a single brain cell to rub between Kirk, Ray, or any single person who worked on this show as an unironic attempt to spread the word of Monsieur Gibberish. Is that everything?
There were no cameras, no production crew, no lighting, no graphic artists, and no editors.
Oh, well, I think what you will have there is probably a blank screen. Because if you have none of those things at all, then yeah, this is what you get. And yet, it's still smarter than your show.
The entire program just happened. There was a big bang in our production studio.
Is that when you bumped your head really hard and got the big dumb? And, oh god, I just realised where he's going with this. We're going to be spending an awful lot of time talking about things that are not evolution today, aren't we? Well, I'm going to need a quick way to make it clear that that is not the case. Last time it was take a shot, but after the sheer number of complaints, the last time I made a drinking game out of a video, I am instead just going to say, oh look, a squirrel! And I'm going to do it less. And I'm going to show you a picture of a cute squirrel when I do that I done finded. And then they died, and the world's collective intelligence increased by 100-fold due to their cumulative negative intelligence, warping reality with superpowers finally being stopped. And then we had hover cars and personal spaceships and unlimited whiskey engines. I know it's not going to happen, but I can dream, can't I?
And here we are.
Could you believe that?
Yes, because this video was made by me saying a few short select phrases and it just forming. I didn't spend about a day drafting and finalising a script. I said, let there be jokes. I didn't have to record any voiceover. I said, let there be voice noise. And I didn't have to edit together a final product that I could upload to the internet. I just said, let there be doing an internet video type thing. What do you mean that's stupid? Don't you two believe in something suspiciously similar?
Of course you couldn't. Nobody in his right mind could. And yet many evolutionists would have us believe that in the name of science.
Evolutionists believe your show was made by a weird random explosion? Well, to be fair, it would explain it far better than some humans came together and did this on purpose. I mean, that makes literally zero sense. Why would anyone do that? No, you're right, explosion is more likely to those two hypotheticals.
There was no creator, no space, no energy, no matter. There was nothing. And then there was this big bang, and out came the sea and the land.
Oh look, a squirrel! But no, that's not what happened at all. In fact, that whole there was nothing thing isn't remotely true either. There was we don't know, and we don't know and nothing are not the same thing, remotely. Now, could it be nothing? I mean, the universe is weird enough for a maybe, but it also could have been a previous universe, another larger universe containing others. It could have been a picture of a sloth. Like I said, we don't know, and at the very least, I certainly don't, and won't claim to till the science is settled, at least to a reasonable degree. But the whole suddenly oceans thing, or whatever, that's a big no, because they form over time, not Big Bang then oceans. That shows that you have no idea how space stuff works. I say space stuff because I'm 99% sure I will mess this up and call it astrology, because I am the dumb.
Birds and flowers and trees and elephants and giraffes and horses and cats and dogs. And of course, man and women. And this took countless millions of years.
Oh, so he does know that it took time. Me am the shocked. Of course, he's going to screw this up somehow. I say somehow. It'll be screwed up because of his own stupidity and dishonesty. And also probably a bit Bible.
We're now going to look closely at some of the believers of the theory of evolution.
Why would you do that? I thought we were here to learn about it and you were going to debunk it. It's irrelevant what some random individuals say because they might be wrong or have misunderstood something. Science isn't proven by people believing in it. It's proven by research papers and an overwhelming preponderance of evidence, etc. Oh, right, you don't care about any of that, do you? You want to evangelize at people, because it's all that you're good at. That's cool. All I am good at is making fun of stupid people, so you should stick to what you know, right? Dumbass.
And we want you to listen.
You want us to listen? Well, perhaps you might want to lead by example, Ray. You should listen as well, instead of just switching on that static sound that happens when other people are talking to you, and then just responding with some prescribed garbage about Jeebus.
Very closely to the type of language they use.
Yes, it's called English. You should probably learn to speak it instead of speaking this drop bare tongue that you seem to be doing. Oh yeah, me name's Ray. I'm just gonna get a stubby with me mates down at the beach and have a barbie. Gibberish.
True believers use what we call the language of speculation.
I don't know, Ray. You true believers seem to talk in the language of cold, hard nonsense. I mean, it would actually be nice to hear a bit of speculation and doubt from you instead of the confidence that only seems to come from people who believe things for which there is literally no proof. It's actually kind of weird when you think about it.
They'll start off sounding like an expert, but because there's such a lack of factual evidence for the theory...
If this is street randos, I'm going to be pissed, because, like, why on earth would you be finding experts just round and about? The average person is literally an expert on nothing, because most people aren't experts on anything. And B, yes there is. There's so much evidence for evolution, it's actually kind of overwhelming and hard to know where to begin. But I tend to start with the simple thing of evolution being a fact. Just like gravity is a fact. They both just have things to explain them. Their respective theories, which is where the evidence comes in.
They are forced to use words like we surmise, we believe, perhaps, maybe, could've, and possibly.
For some of it, sure, we don't know 100%, but that doesn't mean we don't have a really, really good idea what's going on. And some are, well, so well established to the point where, no, they won't say that. It's just pretty much a known fact. It's really funny that you seem to have this high standard of evidence for everyone else, when, well, I imagine yours is, but Bible though.
And then they'll end up saying things like, well, I really don't know I'm not an expert, so watch for these phrases and for these words.
And then ignore them, because in so many ways they are literally irrelevant to the fact of evolution.
So do you believe in the theory of evolution?
Oh yeah, that guy's definitely a tenured professor and an expert on biology and astrophysics. I'm pretty sure he went to Wind Tunnel University. I mean, seriously, where the hell are you? That's so freaking loud. I would fix it, but, well, this.
I do.
Do you believe man evolved from apes?
Like, what the hell? Is this going to be the theme? Skipping around people? And do you not think that it might appear as though you're cherry-picking responses? If this is how you're going to choose to present these recordings?
Yeah, because of biological evidence, I believe that.
So do you think man evolved from apes?
Yeah, I do believe man evolved from apes.
Do you believe in the theory of evolution?
Yes, definitely.
Right, none of these people look like experts, and none of them appear to be trying to sound like experts. They look and sound like, as I predicted, random people from random outside places. So your first bit of "they appear to be experts" is merely your assertion, and the fact is you asked them a straight question and they gave you a straight answer. That's your doing, not theirs.
Could you be specific about the evidence?
How the planet Earth evolved from heavy particles and matter coming together, and then slowly as it cooled off, single-cell life forms developed in the ocean, and then slowly they evolved into multi-celled organisms and then eventually into humans.
Okay, if that's not you taking two separate responses, that answer makes no sense in multiple ways. First off, man deriving from apes has little to do with the Earth forming. And the Earth forming is, oh look, a squirrel. Evolution is things reproducing with change over time. Planets almost never have babies, and if they did, and there was some evolution at play, one might expect more variety in their styles instead of being the big round fat boys that they are. I want to see some cool other types of planets, like ones with wings, or that eat other planets for sustenance. That'd be sick. And by sick, I mean I eat planets. Might explain why I'm so fat.
How did it begin?
I don't know. Probably the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, you are such a dishonest little turd man, aren't you? You are the one who presented these laymen as experts, and then you go, haha, see, they're not experts. No shit, Sherlock. Of course they're not. Why don't you go and actually ask an actual biology professor? Or seeing as this is all, ooh look a squirrel anyway, some sort of space professor. I mean a professor of space, not one from space. Although one that's both would be a space professor.
What caused the Big Bang?
Probably an asteroid from another planet that had had the same thing happen to it millions of years ago.
Where did the other planet come from?
I don't know. I really don't know.
What? No. And no offense, dude, but you have no idea what you're talking about. But that's okay, and the fact that Ray in no way does, or possibly even can, spot that what he said here had nothing to do with the Big Bang, just proves evermore, not that we needed to know, how little you are capable of discussing this subject in a coherent manner.
There's a lot of things. I mean, you look at, first of all, like homologous structures in animals and analogous structures and these things called vestigial organs.
Did they come out of the sea?
Wait, no, go back to the other guy. I want to know where he's going with that, and why you don't have a response. Also, did you do this interview on a pigging aeroplane? That explains the noise. Haha, explains. But why on earth? I mean, we all get bored on flights, but to bang out what was likely some pretty bulky equipment in the middle of a bloody flight? Well, I imagine there were more than a few disgruntled passengers. There's a time and a place, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where they evolved, because that's the only place that could support life.
Okay, when they came out of the sea, was there air?
Was there air? It took a while, but yeah, air eventually, because of the breakdown of atoms and stuff, and it was eventually released. So yeah, I think there was air when they came out.
For those of you who watched the previous series I did, where Ray actually picked some people who largely held their own, well, he obviously learned his lesson and has chosen people who aren't going to make him sound like a gigantic dumbass, which probably took some doing. No offense to any of these people so far, and I have hopes for the airplane guy, but These have not been stellar answers. And I'm not saying that I would have been any better on the spot. Most of my answers would have been incoherent screaming. But I think, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to say it. You did this on purpose, didn't you, Ray? The question is, why? Perhaps something to do with making yourself feel like the big smart.
Because
When they came out, what came out of the ocean?
I don't know. You tell me.
So do you think we were originally fish?
I mean, it's possible.
Did it come out as a dog?
Probably not.
Well, would you look at that? You asked a bunch of questions that you knew would elicit specific answers, and you got the answers that you wanted. It's almost like you've had a bit of practice at this whole lark, and now know exactly how to get what you want out of people, even if it is just to be disingenuous to your idiot audience. And I wanted to mention something. I have had a few people tell me that they used to buy into Ray's shtick. So when I say idiot, well, it's not to say that I don't mean idiot. They were idiots at the time, but thankfully, unidioting can be achieved. And thank God for that, eh?
What was it?
Probably didn't come out as a mammal at all. Probably came out as a reptile and evolved that way.
So you think we lived under the water?
It's possible at some point.
When we were under the water, do you think we had lungs or gills?
This shit doesn't make you smart, Ray, and it certainly doesn't make whatever replacement theory that one might choose to put in its place more right. Because even if these people were experts, and you just caught them while they were drunk, the fact that they are wrong or that they don't know various specifics doesn't actually mean a damned thing. The cumulative data, the piles and piles of research that you frankly lied about not existing, say that evolution is true. And here's how it would have happened. That's what matters. Overwhelming preponderance of corroborating evidence. It's the best kind of evidence. It's just like when someone asks me what I think the best kind of whiskey is. An overwhelming preponderance of it. Preferably in a big bucket. Always the best. And that's what really matters.
Because I'm trying to think, here is this sort of animal who's coming out of the ocean without lungs. So he comes out with gills, goes, runs back to water and just keeps coming out until lungs develop?
Yeah.
No, of course not. That would be stupid. Especially one creature doing it. That would just be impossible. And a group would need a reason to do it. Nothing is going on to land when the ocean is where they live unless, say, a group of creatures discover an abundant food source outside of the water and have the ability to jump out to the food. So now they don't have to compete with other creatures. They will just jump onto the beach or rocks or wherever this thing is and flop back into the water. It's pretty inefficient and quite dangerous, sure, but it's also a completely cornered niche that they alone can use. So that's what they eat for hundreds of thousands of years. And over time, this creature, now not needing to compete with other sea creatures for that food, start to evolve in a different direction. Its fins may become stumpy and more leg-like, and it can now drag itself across the land to quickly grab food and get back. In fact, it will eventually get to the point where spending time on land, while limited by its breath, is no longer a risk of getting stuck. So the further one of these can get, the more food it can retrieve, and the longer it will survive, not having to compete with its relatives, and thus having more offspring than the rest. Over time, some kind of dual breathing system will evolve, where they can now spend time in and out of the water, a bit like the contemporary lungfish. Eventually, the creature will get so used to spending time on land, and will have travelled so far from any large bodies of water, that it will rarely use its gills, till eventually they just don't have them anymore. That's basically how that would work. And the fact that things change prove that's exactly how it could work, given enough time, and most importantly, a reason.
Wow. Now, this animal that came out
Wow.
was in the sea, so it obviously had gills. When it came up out of the land, did it have lungs onto the land?
It could have either been amphibious or possibly even just had to evolve from having gills and not being able to survive without them.
Okay, I'm done. As I have said, you aren't asking experts at all, and if you did, they would explain to you in far more certain terms what is understood. There's a reason you haven't done that. And it's because it won't fit your little narrative here that you're building, where experts don't know why they think what they think. Well, they do, and you're just a dishonest prick. Man, it's good to be back on these videos, eh? It just feels right, calling an unashamed dickhead a dickhead. More to come. Why, hello there, you terrible people, the best kind of people. It's me, Sir Sick. Could you not tell? I just wanted to remind you all to subscribe, push the bell icon, and to check out my various social media things for other equally pointless content. And more importantly, to make sure that you know when a video comes out. Recently, it seems YouTube doesn't want you to know because I am so handsome, famous, and good at the sex, and they are jealous, obviously. It really helps me out if you do, and apparently if you are notification belled up, they have reset it or something, so check them settings to make sure you're getting what you're supposed to. Hopefully we can get my numbers back up, because my self-worth is directly related to how many internet people show up on my videos. I'm sure that's completely healthy, right? Also, don't forget to panic buy Sick Brand merch, and don't forget to panic crowd support the channel. Thanks very much.